Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here. Um, I'm Kimberly Kirkland with UAB Arts and Medicine. Our mission is to enhance health and wellness for people in healthcare and community settings through the arts and creative expression. And this is Virtual Mental Health Monday, where we explore topics through the lens of holistic and creative wellness. Please note that this is being recorded, so feel free to turn off your cameras if you prefer, but we would love to see you and engage with you if you feel comfortable doing so. Also, please feel free to put in the chat, just a hello, maybe where you're zooming from, um, interest in this topic. And also note that we will have questions. So if you have a question anywhere along the way, please put it in the chat and I will make sure we get to those throughout the presentation. And yes, so now I'm delighted to welcome Valerie Hanks, art therapist. We've gotten to work with Valerie for many years, and she's just a phenomenal person and, of course, art therapist. And she has put together a talk tonight. Art therapy is a pathway to trauma recovery. And so she's going to lead us in learning how art making, guided by a registered art therapist, can help process and heal trauma, the science and practice of art therapy for trauma recovery, and we're going to get to play a little. So if you hopefully grabbed a pen and a piece of paper, that's all you need. No art experience is needed, just an open spirit ready to engage. So with that, I will turn it over to Valerie Hanks.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you for joining this evening. I am a registered art therapist, as Kimberly said, and I have the honor of serving a wide range of individuals and families. And if we can go to the next slide, I've listed the range of different patients that I serve. If we can go ahead and go to the next slide. Yeah. So I have the honor to serve pediatric patients and families at Children's of Alabama in the hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplant, cardiovascular services, pulmonary rehab and epilepsy units, palliative care, and partial hospitalization unit for adolescents. I also have the honor of serving adults in the Center for Psychiatric Medicine, veterans, and individuals through our weekly virtual art programs. And it is through art therapy that I support individuals in processing overwhelming feelings, fear, grief, trauma, and stress through visual expression. So I'm here today not as someone who knows everything, but as someone actively learning with you. I come with lived clinical experience, curiosity, and a deep respect for the resilience of the patients and families that I serve. And we can go to the next slide. This evening's time together does not require any artistic abilities. As Kimberly had said, no skills are necessary. Just bring curiosity and a willingness to slow down for a moment. So before we begin, I'd like to invite all of us just to take a moment to give ourselves a few calm breaths to settle into this space. I know we've all come from different responsibilities, conversations, and mindsets today. So let's just take a moment and just, if you can, place your feet, feel your body where you're sitting. You can keep your eyes open or you can softly lower your gaze, whatever feels most comfortable for you. But let's just take a slow, cleansing breath in and an easy breath out. Again, inhale gently, feeling only as much as it feels natural for you. And exhale, letting your shoulders soften just a little bit. And let's go ahead and do one more slow breath in and a steady breath out. So there's no need to change anything about your body. You're just allowing yourself to be present. So we can go ahead and grab your paper and pen, have it near you. You might have a napkin or a marker, anything that you have accessible. And we can go ahead to the next slide. So before we begin, I just want to start with a simple grounding activity. On your paper, I want you to take a moment to draw a representation of something, anything, that brings you comfort. It doesn't need to be detailed or artistic, just a quick visual representation of something that helps you feel calm, safe, or supported. And let's take just a minute or two to do that now. I'd like you to notice your breath during this time. Try to slow it down while you're drawing. And I would like to ask the question, what feelings or emotions does this image represent for you? If you'd like to share, you're more than welcome to raise your hand or put it in the chat box. But I would love to hear what you chose to draw, why it brings you comfort, what feelings or emotions it represents, anything about it that you would like to share.
Martha shared that happiness, she drew an ice cream cone.
Nice, Martha. Thank you. Anybody else?
I drew a fire and a warm mug because I'm feeling it makes me feel peaceful and safe. Tori said she drew ocean waves.
Nice. Nice.
And Cassie wrote drew a latte, which feels calm and soothing.
Very good. Thank you all. So what you just did is an example of how art bypasses the pressure to have to explain or verbalize. You didn't have to find the perfect words to describe comfort. You just simply created an image of it. And this is one of the powerful ways that art therapy supports trauma recovery. It engages the parts of the brain connected to sensory processing, emotional regulation, and meaning making without requiring a spoken narrative. In trauma-informed care, we often begin with grounding, safety, and choice. So the small drawing warm-up allowed you to choose your own comfort image, access a felt sense of support, and participate at whatever level felt safe for you. And those principles mirror exactly how art therapy works with patients, especially when words are hard to find. And we can go to the next slide. I want you to keep that paper nearby because we're going to go back to it. So, what exactly is art therapy? Art therapy is a regulated mental health profession facilitated by trained, credentialed art therapists. Art therapy integrates creative expression through a wide variety of mediums like drawing, painting, collage, and sculpture, along with psychotherapy, mind body awareness, and trauma informed principles. Art therapy is not about artistic skill, it's about the process, it's about insight, and it's about regulation. So, as an art therapist, the majority of my work, I serve pediatric patients and families using the art making as a way for them to be able to find out more about themselves, explore their emotions, reduce their stress, build resilience, and provide a creative distraction within a medical environment. Art therapy creates containment. The goal is not focused on the product, it's focused on the process to support healing, insight, and emotion regulation. And we can go to the next slide. So, art therapy is used in medical environments to restore agency, dignity, and choice for patients. Art therapy empowers children to express themselves and helps families find meaning. Oftentimes in the hospital, patients haven't stopped that long for that period of time, and their families usually have not spent that much time in a small room together. So it creates a very powerful and perfect opportunity for them to get to hear from each other, get to know each other, and support each other. Letting patients choose their materials, colors, and how they are used is very important in encouraging expression of personal identity despite the child's illness. Many times, parents and family members who are at bedside experience an intimate glimpse into the patient's world through observations of the child's art and expression. Regression may occur during illness, trauma, sedation, or pain, and art becomes a window into strengths and developmental needs. Oftentimes, I will collaborate with OT or PT in reaching goals so that we can all work together to help this child gain strength. Art expression maps to cognitive, emotional, and motor development. So you can go to the next slide. And I'd like to share this precious story of a young pediatric cancer patient. So I would work with her, and she would always choose to flip the canvas over and work on the back side. Every time her mother gently reminded her, sweetheart, the painting goes on the front. This is the front of the canvas. But the child would quietly turn it over. Her choice was deliberate and consistent. What made this moment so meaningful, though, was not the technical side of the art, it was the autonomy that it represented. Her mother had to practice remarkable restraint, stepping back from the urge to correct or redirect her, but instead, she allowed her daughter's preference to take the lead. And for this child, the back of the canvas became her trademark. So, working on that unexpected surface gave her a sense of control at a time in life when she felt so much was out of control. She didn't get to choose her meds and her treatments, but she did get to choose to flip the canvas over every single time and squeeze out big blobs of paint. It reminded her that her decisions mattered and she had a voice and that there was no wrong way to express herself. Soon, practitioners who visited her room began to comment on the originality and creativity of her artwork. She lit up when her choice was noted. She was delighted that it was uniquely hers. We even got the big, large syringes that the nurses have and put paint inside it, and she would shoot it out and squirt it out. And it gave her the ability to play with some of the medical devices that were used, but in a way to express herself. And what appeared on the surface to be a simple preference was actually a profound expression of agency. So, in a medical environment where children often have limited options, the ability to choose the wrong side of a canvas became a powerful message that her voice mattered, and she could choose to create in that way if it felt best for her. We can go to the next slide. Another patient I worked with was battling cancer and had experienced also a stroke on his dominant side. He was bright, athletic, about 10 years old. His life had been shaped only recently with the hospital stays and the treatments and the uncertainty that cancer brings. But one morning, things changed when the sudden stroke came upon him, and it altered how he moved and spoke. And it also altered how he expressed himself in the world. So, for a child who had once drawn with confidence, he liked to design Pokemon cards. The strokes that he made were unfamiliar. His voice and his lines trembled. The tasks that he used to master with ease now required new pathways, new patience, and new courage. Yet, this is where the remarkable resilience began to shine. So, in art therapy, he explored what it meant to create even a simple mark with his non dominant hand. At first, he was hesitant, frustrated with the shakiness and lack of control. But as he continued, new possibilities emerged. A small mark became bigger, and a bigger mark became more bold, and colors then began to emerge. He began to focus on expression, and art became a place where his ability was redefined, not lost. So when words were difficult, imagery gave him a voice. When movement felt foreign, creativity helped reintroduce him to his own body. Even with assistance, he discovered new ways to move and express and persevere in the face of unexpected change. And we can go to the next slide. So, what is medical what is trauma informed in the medical field? Trauma informed approach is a way of providing care that recognizes the widespread impact of trauma and intentionally creates environments where families and patients feel safe, empowered, respected, and understood. It's a lens through which interactions and interventions and decisions are made. We can go to the next slide. Trauma is more widespread than we realize. You could pretty much assume everyone in the hospital is bringing in trauma from their current situation. They've all got stories. So anyone may have a trauma history, whether disclosed or undisclosed. Trauma shapes behavior and coping. Emotional, cognitive, and behavioral responses often reflect adaptations to past traumatic experiences. Trauma informed art therapy intentionally encourages choice, safety, and supports a person's autonomy. Trauma informed means adjusting approaches to create safety and trust and empowerment and to avoid re traumatization. We can go to the next slide. Art therapy helps the brain process sensation and emotion in ways that support healing without needing words. In other words, art making engages parts of the brain involved in sensory processing and emotional integration, allowing healing without forcing narrative. We can go to the next slide. Art becomes a mirror of the emotional world and a bridge toward healthier coping, supporting therapeutic skills like distress tolerance, emotion regulation, interpersonal effectiveness, and mindfulness. We can go to the next slide. Through imagery, art therapy supports a safe way to externalize and explore what feels overwhelming on the inside. We can go to the next slide. One particular adolescent I was working with created this image. He was depressed and fearful following several procedures after a diagnosis. And we were able to process the image, look at it objectively, and lean into that mysterious bright spot in the middle that appeared without consciously creating it. This eventually evolved into hope and a discovery of what that looks like on a daily basis. We can go to the next slide. So now I want to invite you to get your paper back out. And I'd like for you to draw 2 circles. They don't have to be perfect. 2 circles that overlap slightly in the middle. Again, it's simply a visual way to explore how we're showing up today. You can write, draw, make marks, or simply observe as we proceed. So in the first circle, I want to invite you to jot down or sketch a few things you are currently experiencing in your life. Your current thoughts, emotions, the energy that you're carrying. You can represent those using lines and shapes, words, or symbols. So I'd like you to go ahead and take a few moments to fill in your first circle. Again, just representations of what you are currently experiencing in your life. And you can begin. Okay. If you're not finished, you can keep working on that, but I'd like to go ahead and invite you to now go to your second circle and draw or write what you would like to experience in your life, what you hope to cultivate, feel, or experience. So take a few moments to fill in your second circle. And now, in the overlapping middle space, I would like for you to note or draw what supports you. What are your anchors, your strengths? What are the things that help bridge where you are and where you'd like to be? And go ahead and take a few moments to recognize those and place representations or words, whichever you would like, of those things in the middle overlapping space. And you can go ahead and begin on that now. So I'd like to ask if there's anyone that would feel comfortable in sharing any part of your two circles and the overlap space, whether it's which circle filled up first, or what surprised you, or exactly the things inside your circles. So I'm going to open it up um, for anyone that would feel comfortable in sharing.
Can I ask you a quick question? I didn't get to hear you for what the right circle was supposed to signify.
Oh, yeah, sure. So on the right circle, the second one, you will draw or write what you would like to experience in your life, what you hope to cultivate or feel or experience. So your
And
first circle is what you're experiencing now, and then the second one is what you would like to.
and what is the interlap, the inside?
The overlapping middle space is what supports you, or where are your anchors and your strengths that help bridge between where you are now and where you'd like to be.
So with that being said, can I chime in what the two things I wrote?
Of course.
Okay. So for the left side is the stress, the worrisome of being a caregiver and the
Mhm.
responsibilities.
Mm.
And then also like I'm in the ER with my mom now. That's why I didn't hear what you said. So it's to worry about that, to see
Mm.
what's going on with that.
Mm.
Then for the right side, it would be finding the support um, to help to get more family support. And then the middle would be like my anchors are like the happiness I see my mom, like she's doing like art therapy and how positive that is. You know, you don't have to know how to draw, but it just engages her mind and her body.
Mm.
And it's just amazing how that. And then like I found I'm beginning to find support. I'm beginning to have like finding the resources that can help me deal with it.
Mm.
I don't know. That's
Yeah.
just some of the things
No,
that
I
I'm.
appreciate you sharing, and I'm so sorry to hear that you're in the ER. Um, and the support that you have to be able to move you to what you would like, do you find that it's lacking, or do you find that you've got some areas that you can grow?
Yes, I feel like I am going. I feel like I'm finding resources, and if one door closes, another one opens,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just amazing. Just like I thrive on the happiness that my mom and I'm seeing how she's getting better and in different things in mind, body, and therapy. And so I'm just really thrilled about that. Makes me happy. Like just watching her like do art, it just makes my heart better too. It's just people don't realize how art therapy really makes a huge difference in your life.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, Martha.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate that.
Thank
You take
you.
care of you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Anyone else want to share maybe what circle filled up first, or if you were surprised you had more in one circle than the other?
Julie, did you want to share something? Well, Valerie, we did get some comments, and so I just wanted to kind of lift those up and share a few things. Um, s- People are experiencing currently some anxiety, depression, not feeling validated. Someone else shared exhaustion, stress, sadness. Um, and then I think moving into the second circle, Angie shared happiness, appreciation for my daughters. Um, I'm not sure what that says, but self-love, pride of my accomplishments, belief in myself. Mary Jane said happiness, hope, excitement, and fulfillment. Um, and and then I think the crossover, the middle part was God, family, and select friends. And I shared nature, stillness, and time alone. So those are some things that people shared.
Very, very good. So as you look at the middle space between your two circles, leaning into how maybe one or more of those could increase so that it helps to shift you toward how you want to feel. So as you look at the things in the center that overlap of your support and anchors and the things that bridge, maybe take note at one that could increase in order to help shift you toward how you want to feel. And I'm curious if you look at both circles and you were to move something from one circle to the other, what might that be? If anyone would be willing to share.
Well, I think whatever we wrote on the second circle, because it's the opposite what we were experiencing right now versus what we would like to be on.
Are you asking me what is in the second circle, Angie?
No, I'm just saying a comment, like you asking if we wanna switch something from one circle to another one.
Well,
Yeah.
did you want to, if you were to move something, you may find that you might want to move it within the circle. Does it need to be bigger or smaller within your circle, or move from one to the other? Or are you surprised at how they showed up in the circles? I'm just wondering, as far as looking at what you now have, what you see, and do you, just your feedback on that.
Yes. I think what I like to do is move, like believe for myself
Mm-hmm.
to the first circle. I mean to the other side.
Yes.
That is something that I don't do it due to a trauma, with my childhood and all that. So it's like a flashback coming on and off, and making me doubt of myself.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. And I'm curious if you were to think of some ways that can help support you in that shift and to help to move you toward how you would like things to be. It's just something
Yes.
to think about as you're taking a look at the two circles and the overlap.
I'll share.
Have some faith and keep doing what I believe is right, and don't pay attention to the past. I know it's hard, but
Yes.
and well, that's what I think.
Very good. Thank you, Angie. Kimberly, thank you for sharing. Kimberly, did you have something that maybe stood
Yeah,
out to you or?
and this happened when I was writing in the first circle. I was kind of thinking about all the things that, I'm experiencing right now. I was struck by how I could have feelings both of sadness or grief while also having feelings of like hope and peace. So how I could be having, seemingly opposite kind of emotions, but at the same time.
Yes, the duality of emotions that also increase and decrease in their volumes is a lot for us to manage. Um, yeah. Did you find the area in the middle for your sources of strength or support? Were you surprised at how little or how much?
I was surprised at it's things that I always, it's nature, walking, um, time alone, stillness, family. And I bet there are more.
Yeah, but even in that simple list, it gives a good visual for what maybe just if one small area can increase, it helps to shift us toward what we want to feel and what we want to experience. So that's the whole idea of it. And there may be a lot more, but it's nice to kind of get some things on paper and be able to oftentimes just remind ourselves what strengths and support, even in difficult moments, that we do still have. For you, nature, okay, it's still there, whether you have a very difficult day or a day that is not as challenging, but being able to shift towards those sources of strength and increase them kind of helps us to be able to come up with a little bit of a plan. Is there anybody else that would like to share maybe what you noticed when you were writing things down or anything that you wanted to maybe surprised you in your circles?
Hey, my name is Nazma, and I would like to actually say that what I wrote in my first left hand circle, just word heavy. Okay, being a cancer survivor, the is I'm blessed that I'm survivor for more than 10 years, but you always go every time MRI mammogram. It's just a fear or heaviness on your shoulder. It's always on your I call it like in your back of the shoulder is always there, right? The cancer, the word. But currently I feel like that, okay, my doctors, I mean, like the radiology suggested, we will do MRI guided biopsy. Well, not yet any suspicion, but it is heavy in my mind going through, since Thanksgiving, and I don't know when it will be until I know the result. I did not do yet, but so on the right circle, I actually wrote very positive thing that because I am a very strong-willed woman, and inner strength is my strength. The positive attitude and then inner strength is my core, actually. And then family, my child, everybody keeps me standing. Like a rooting down, which I am blessed again. And then inside the circle, I am telling, before you ask that question, the two circle mate, I again wrote that my inner strength, the same thing, I know that I can repeat it because I know that I have that, you know. So
Wow.
it's a different feelings always, the heavy, and then I try to be light, and then it comes back on my mind again, heaviness.
Yes.
So
And it it sounds like your resilience has been growing through your experiences, and it is the strength that you count on. And what a beautiful way to look at it, knowing that that's there, and then the things that support you to get you through that.
Yes. And I do lots of artwork. I make journals and notebooks. And so that's my another peace corner. Like I timed out actually by myself, probably hours and hours. And I do not feel even bothered to go out. Doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. So I find that my inner peace or strength on that art actually, which I'm doing pretty long time actually, and it's kind of now my go-to strength actually.
That's a beautiful story, and it sounds like you are practicing mindfulness and you are benefiting from the
Yes.
wonderful process. And
Yes.
yes, thank you so much for sharing that.
Well, thank you for this discussion. I really enjoying that what other people are saying, and yes, it's a everybody is an individual and unique. Their lifestyle and their problems, or I'm not saying a problem, but their life, family life, every life, is a different. So it's a learning. This learning also strength. That's I want to learn actually
Yes.
what others are going through or what others are saying. Thank you,
Yes.
Valerie. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
thank you. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing.
Thank
Yes.
you. Mhm.
Anybody else have anything that you would like to share? So I want you to look at your drawing one last time and consider what you want to carry forward from this experience. Is there one small supportive resource from this that you can carry through your season? It may be a word that you see on your circles or the center part. Maybe it's a shift that's happened toward increasing one of your sources of strength. Maybe it's simply the reminder that you have strengths and you have support even in difficult moments. But I would like you to have that, whether you jot it down, highlight it, circle it, and give yourself the gift of taking that with you that you can carry forward from this experience and build on. And I am so glad for being a part of this space. I know that we're going to maybe open it up for any general comments or questions at this time, but it is an honor to do the work that I do. It's an honor to meet people, whether it's virtually or in person. And it's an honor to get to spend this time with each of you there. So I'm going to open it up to Kimberly or whoever would like to read any questions, or if there's any comments anyone would like to share. We're all ears.
I will say that we've had some additional comments coming in, so I just wanted to share those. Julie, she was talking about her kind of the crossover. She said her strength and support list includes people like friends, family, priest, meditation practice, nature, pre-rehearsed talking points, and a diet high in polyphenols. Jessica said, I put peace in the first circle, but I think I could use some more peace. Um, Tori said she hopes to cultivate peace, understanding, rest, calm, glimmers, which I love, healthy health and healthy activity. And then Julie said, I realized that some words were written outside the first circle, and coincidentally, those topics, pressure, and judgment are coming from an outside source in my life now. These are not coming from me. I initially wrote down behaviors and emotions inside the circle that originate from me. Um, Martha said, keep hope alive. Um, Lashandra, yes, it's being recorded, so you can see it at a different time. And finally, Angie said, find a hobby to de-stress, to relax, and keep myself calm and remind myself how strong I am. Yes, and then thank you, Valerie, and
So,
UAB Arts and Medicine.
Julie, are you the one that shared the insight about words on the outside of your circle? Okay. I love that because you have gained insight simply from participating in being able to represent your life and what you're going through, what you would like to go, feel and go through, what the overlapping strengths are. And the beautiful part about art therapy, really, my job is just shining a light. What about this? What about that? And you were able to take that flashlight and shine it and go, wait a minute, this comes from the outside. That is so impactful. And Julie, it's also wonderful and so strong when you're sharing that with all of us in this space, because each of you who are sharing, we all take a little tiny bit with us and it helps all of us. And so I love hearing the insights. I love hearing from each of you how much the practice of creativity is helpful, and specifically art therapy. And so I love that. So I really appreciate the sharing. It's valuable. Is there anything else anyone wanted to share? I've finished about 6 minutes early instead of squeezing too close to the time. So if there's anything else anyone would like to share, then please do so.
Or if you have any questions for Valerie, too. Got another thank you. I have a question, Valerie.
Sure.
What might be if someone wanted to, in this group, wanted to kind of like take this one exercise kind of like to another level, or bring in some other kind of modality, or, just expand on it. Do you have any kind of recommendation for what they could do?
Sure, sure. So, taking this and adding color where you've got your lines, colors, and shapes, you can do collage. You can expand on it as much as you want, but I would invite you to do a weekly check-in on your circles. So next week, it would be nice if you, first of all, set an intention, which is, I'm really big on setting intentions on what area am I going to lean into a little bit more and increase to help me shift from where I am to where I want to be. And then next week, check in and maybe do your circle prompt again. See if the size of the things that you've represented change, if the placement changes. See if the support areas feel like they're more full, if you've increased any of those. You can also make notes for yourself. It's almost like a check-in to be able to say, okay, I set an intention, but be very, very careful that you are gentle with yourself and give yourself grace. Because if you set an intention and a plan and it didn't happen, don't beat yourself up. Just take a look at it, that you are there again to remind yourself and what you might could do in a different area that maybe would be an easier way to increase that support to be able to move you toward how you want to feel or the things that you want to experience. So it's a good weekly check-in. It's something to be able to almost chart progress in a way, but make it in a way that is fun for you. A lot of times I'll add Zentangle patterns or, doodles around it and date those circles and then come back and reflect back on it. And so it's a great way to just reemphasize and focus in on what our strengths are, what our resources are, and how we can, with just one tiny shift, move toward how we want things to feel and what we want to experience. So that's a great question, Kimberly. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Yes, and if anybody has a question, just put it in the chat. But we are just at about time. And so I just want to thank you so much, Valerie, for being with us. I feel grounded, and I'm gonna take a look at my circles next week. And but yeah, and thank you everyone who joined us via Zoom and participated. And we look forward to seeing you for another virtual Mental Health Monday in the new year. So thank you very much, everyone. Thanks, Valerie.
You're welcome. Bye.